Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do. I appreciate every single one of you. Last week we were with this Tesla Model 3 and this week we are with its bigger brother, the Model Y. Now the Model Y actually shares 75% of its parts with the Model 3, but it was designed to be the more affordable and practical version of Tesla's SUV, the Model X. The Model Y has a 75 kilowatt lithium-ion battery. It puts out 384 horsepower, which is actually 44 more horsepower than the Model 3, and has a top speed of 135 mile an hour, which is 10 mile an hour slower than the Model 3. The Model Y will get you to 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, which is actually 0.4 seconds slower than the Model 3. But that is going to be in part due to the weight of this thing. It is 2 tons, whereas the Model 3 is only 1,800 kilos. The styling is very, very similar. It looks like they've just picked up a Model 3 and stretched it upwards, which is essentially what they've done because they're both on the same wheelbase. Boot space feels a lot bigger in this due to the 3 having a much lower profile, but you've also got the secret hidden storage under here too. Probably not the Tesla for vertically challenged people. Up front, you've got the frunk for the storage cables. And inside, very, very similar to the 3. I really like this wooden interior as well with the black leather. It just feels so much less plasticky than the white in R1 does. You've got the same storage options, steering wheel's exactly the same. The car runs from this 15-inch screen, the same as it does on the 3. You've got the same handy wireless charger down here. And all of essentially the interior is exactly the same, it's just what spec you choose on your particular car. The other thing I did want to note is that you've actually got 2 ways of opening the door. So the top one here won't allow you to open the door in certain circumstances, but if you ever find yourself in that situation and you do need to get out, there is a manual door release just in front of the window buttons, like so. Anyway, that's enough of the interior, it's enough talking about the car. How does it compare to drive? Let's go and find out. So first thing is that the rear visibility is absolutely shockingly rubbish. You've got this kind of tiny little window that you can't see anything out of, and because the car has got quite a high, or it sits quite high up, you just can't see anything out of it. And I don't think it's got a wiper either, no. So it's raining here today in the UK, in Bedfordshire, and I cannot see anything out the back at all. Speaking of raining, the wipers are still rubbish, so if I put it on auto, what do I get? Ah, okay, that's actually not too bad, but it's currently really, really drizzling, and it's put it on probably number 2, when actually it probably only needs number 1. Yeah, number 1's perfect, but I think it put it on number 2, maybe 3 then. But at least it's not just going crazy when it's not even raining, which is what the Model 3 tends to do. I did also test this a little bit more last night with the wipers, and yeah, Tesla have not nailed the auto wiper situation in their cars yet. It's actually very, very similar to the Model 3. To drive, it feels very, very familiar when you're kind of driving along. The only thing I would say is that it does feel actually a lot heavier. So where the Model 3 actually does give you quite a bit of faith. Oh, is that 296? Right, well that was weird. I've just seen Rory Reid in Bedfordshire on my little road where I do all my filming. We were actually here filming this car earlier today, and he's literally parked in exactly the same spot, so that was very exciting. But yeah, so in terms of the car, it feels very, very similar to the Model 3. It does feel a lot heavier, so coming around these roads, it doesn't give you quite as much faith as the 3 does. The 3 kind of feels like you can just chuck it at a corner and it will get round, whereas this, I'm kind of finding that I'm having to slow down because it's stressing me out a bit coming into the corners as quickly as I could in the 3. But it's a heavier car. It's also, again, the more practical version of the 3. So you don't expect that it should do the same things that the 3 does, but it's pretty close, okay? It's really, really not bad at all. In terms of performance, so I said earlier in the video, you've got 4.8 second 0 to 60. If you want to decrease that, decrease that, you can buy an upgrade which apparently will decrease the 0 to 60 time by about half a second. Now in the UK it costs £1,500, and I believe in the US it's about 3. So is it worth it? Not sure for 0.5 seconds. Depends how much you want to show off to your mates, if I'm completely honest. The other thing to note as well is that I don't actually know if you can do it on certain models, because we took the 3 on a track day, tried to do the performance upgrade because why not, but it wouldn't let us. So I don't know if there's specific models that you can do it on, but apparently I've heard through the grapevine that you can do it on these, but don't take my word for it. Let me know in the comments anyway. Regen braking is good, so slows you down nicely. I would say the only thing is it does slow down slower than the 3, but again, I guess the increase in weight, that makes sense, not a big deal, it's kind of expected. And I'd say the only other thing is that it does seem to make a lot more noise than the 3. The 3's quite, you can sort of trundle along and not really hear anything, whereas there's a lot of random noises come from this car. But to be honest, for you know, an electric crossover SUV kind of Tesla thing, I like Teslas. I've been converted to Teslas with the 3. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this because I thought it would be a bit too big and lumbery and you know, just a big car. But actually it's not at all. It still feels quite nimble. As I say, you can feel the extra weight in it, but it's not that bad. And you can fit everything in this car. As I say, the boot space is a lot more usable, I would say. The 3, because it's got the lower profile, it's kind of harder to put things in it, but this has a load of space in it, and I think the higher up kind of boot line, I guess, does make it a lot easier to kind of live with if you're putting big things in a car, if you've got dogs, those sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, it's a great car. Fun factor, okay, right, it's an SUV and it's Tesla. So, is it fun? No. But is it more fun than other cars? Probably yes. So I'm going to go with a 6, which actually I think is pretty good, but it's not made to be fun. But Tesla do build cars that I feel like are they're pretty good at everything, right? Practicality, I would say probably a 9. You know, we're not talking about 7-seater cars here that you can fit all your 15 million children in, but you can fit everything that you need to fit in. As I say, you can carry your dogs around and they'll be quite happy. And if you want to put a wardrobe in the boot, you can. It's very, very, very good as a car, and it's very practical. Would I have one? Yes, actually I probably would. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I've driven 2 Teslas now and I like them both. I want to drive a Model S. That's one of my next goals, is to get into a Model S. That would be very cool. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe. We've got some really cool stuff coming up next year that you're not going to want to miss. Hit the like button, drop us a comment, let us know what you think, what you want us to review in future, and I will see you in the next video.